basically, having these type of, this type of network, again, because this is his world.
Yep.
It says they increase in riches. Yeah, and we know starting with the elites, obviously, their main way of attaining riches is through wickedness.
Yep. Yeah, I got precept. This is the book of Sirach 10:8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And, Esau, he's so prideful, and he says that, this land wasn't stolen, it was conquered. But the reason why, people look down upon, how you got this land is because look at what you did. You got it in a wicked way. You broke all these treaties. All right, you had it was enough land for Esau to get, but he wanted it all, right? Putting our people into slavery, free labor, buck breaking. All right,
yeah.
The way that you had slaves, that's not the way you were supposed to keep a servant according to the scriptures. It was completely wicked, man, wickedness. You doing shit like derbies, dose, these different auctioning blocks. This isn't that wasn't righteous, man. That's not something to be proud of, And that's the reason why, this man has to be brought down, man. All right, go ahead. Yeah, I'll read that again. Sirach 10:8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So, now it's time for us to be in rulership, and we don't want like these different camps. We don't want just a piece of fucking land, all right, that's about to be blown up.
A crumb.
Yeah, Esau. We don't want Esau's crumbs. All right, nah, man. The scriptures go into and I'm gonna get it too, but we want to be in rulership. We don't want just a crumb of Esau's kingdom, wicked kingdom, and still got to be in captivity.
Yeah, we want. Yeah, we want everything.
We want it all, man. We want to be in rulership. We want to be the ones in power. You see?
Yeah, because the thing is, Jake wants to have all these things. Yeah, the main thing that of course we need is what the next of the kings, of course, under our feet.
Yep.
As scripture's going to.
Yep.
Because as long as, again, there can't be two rulers at once. You can't have Jake and Esau ruling at the same time. Yep. It's either one or the other.
Yep.
So ultimately, again, for us to truly prosper and have everything, Esau needs to be brought down and be subject to under us. Because again, there's always going to be that opposition. You can't have two of them ruling with one another. Either Esau's ruling or what? Or either Jacob's ruling.
Yeah. And I got something real quick. This is Psalms 2:8. It says, as for me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. You see? So you were created to be in slavery and serve us. It's not the other way around. That's what we want. And it says the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. So the earth was ultimately created for the Israelites to rule over. It's not for you for you Edomites. You see? So why would we just want a piece of land, having to pay taxes on it every year, living in this captivity? And either way, Esau, he's not going to allow Jake to thrive to that level, because at that point, Jake is going to be a threat, to his, you see? So the wicked, Esau, he's not going to allow you to just, oh, I'm sorry, here's a third of the U.S. and do, nah, that's not going to happen, and ultimately, we're not to be too comfortable or thinking about a long-term future, in this kingdom. You see?
Yep. Come on.
Go ahead.
To read this, it says, Genesis chapter 27 and 26. And his father, so this going into Jacob's blessing, it says, and his father Isaac said unto him, Come here now and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord Yahweh hath blessed. And of course, Jacob did disguise himself as Esau. I mean, ultimately Yahweh set up that way. Because as scripture say, for Jacob have I loved and Esau have I hated. So, Lord set it up where Jacob would of course supplant Esau of his blessing.
Yeah.
It says, therefore the Most High give thee the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. So we're going into the abundance of the earth, the riches, the wealth of the earth, having of course all the resources of the earth.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not looking for the we don't want a piece of land. We don't want the crumbs. All right, we want the blessing. We want the birthright that that we rightfully got, and that's how the Most High set it up for us to get the blessing and the birthright. And we understand that Esau, he's doing because that's what it's all about. Esau, he's doing his best to get his birthright back, but that's not gonna happen. You see, it's a fight for the birthright. It's and Esau, he still has that perpetual hatred for his brother Jacob. That's another reason why we're at this lower state that we're currently in. That hatred he has towards us as well, and him trying to get that birthright back through his own left-handed way. But we understand that the Lord is going to put us back on top because we still got our blessing. We still got our birthright, which is the kingdom of heaven, being rulers of the kingdom of heaven. All right, go ahead.
Gone. It says, Genesis 27 and 29. It says, and ultimately, you can read the book of Ecclesiastes. It goes into how basically, human striving is pointless. You trying to, again, obtain something that's already been set up by Yahweh that you would obtain it.
Yep.
Again, is not going to do you anything. So, Lord set up where nothing that Esau can do, again, to overtake privacy. You of course, you can't overtake, what has been set up since the foundation of the earth.
Yeah, and that's another way how, when you think about it, that's another way how Esau is a thief as well, because none of this is supposed to be his in the first place, Yeah. And look at this is all for Jacob. You see? Go ahead.
The scriptures say what the earth was created for our sakes. In Second Ezra, it says, Genesis 27 and 29, let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's son bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. So ultimately, Jacob was given that eternal blessing, which is what, and ultimately what to rule, to be Lord over all these other nations. So it's already been set up for Jacob. Of course, Jacob's name being changed out to Israel. So obviously we know what for the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel to have rulership over all these other nations. Ultimately us being their lords. So what that right there, of course, is the eternal blessing. But Esau has been given that that temporal microwave blessing. Just that blessing that's only going to last for a little bit.
Yep.
So, and as the scriptures say, Revelation chapter 12 and 12, Esau knows but a short time. He knows that the time of his blessings, running out. So he's trying to milk the last basically amount of his blessing that he has left, and see that NWO. That's his ultimate goal.
Yeah, that's why the scriptures go into Revelation 12 and 12. He's coming with that great wrath because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So he's currently scrambling, doing whatever he can to, fully establish what he's got to establish. But, it's already too late because we already woken up, and the Lord has already woken up, and continuing to wake up the elect. We already exposing this man, and we repenting back to the Lord, and the Lord is seeing this. All right, and the Lord is going to ultimately, lift up that standard, right? Going into, that divine intervention, going into the spiritual power, protecting the elect. And ultimately, the Lord is going to return, right? When the scriptures go into, I will not meet thee as a man, right? We just read going into the brightness of his coming, but he's going to pretty much come back as that supernatural force, you know, with the chariots, with the angels, and bring this kingdom down.
Yeah. So, you know, that right there is what we're waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
Again, so, and you know, it goes to show you how small-minded that, you know, a lot of these Israelites are. Even though they know about the truth, they're so small-minded. You know, you got some Jake, you know, boasting in a Benz.
Benz.
Oh, you know, they mad that I got a Benz. But, you know, hey, you know,
say it, yeah.
You know, ultimately none of this shit's worth anything. A Benz, you know, Lexus, or whatever whip you got, you know, ultimately, you know, you still gotta, you might have a $100K car, but, you know, you still gotta drive on the same road, of course, as you know, or what, basically, you know, you know, ultimately, you know, you still have to drive on these same roads as these other people. You know, you gotta go, again, you know, it does, you know, ultimately what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't matter where you go, ultimately, you know, it's all the same shit, man.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you have this or that.
Yeah, and this was the same guy that said, you know, I have a life, you know, outside of all this. So this is the guy that's not going to be willing to lose his life for the sake of Yahweh Shemi, right? The scripture's going to, you know, pretty much
Hating your life.
Yeah, you got to hate your life. And those that's willing to, you know, that love their life or willing to save their life on this side, those are the ones that's going to be destroyed. And he's living it up, right? Got money, got cars, you know, got a, you know, family, you know, whatever the case may be. You know, that's what his mind is occupied on. You know, it's not, you know, getting the hell up out of this place. It's not being vexed constantly of all the wickedness that's around him. You know, he's just happy to hop in the Benz and be making money and stuff.
Yeah, and of course, you know, hating your life doesn't mean, you know, being in a, you know, down woe's me spirit all day, all year long. You're in a woe's me spirit. And ultimately, it means putting the work of Yahweh Shemi above all other things. Obviously, you know, brothers have many opportunities that, you know, we could take that we could have took.
Yep.
That you know, maybe have an opportunity even now. But ultimately, you still gotta give it up for Yahweh Shemi because it would take away your time for the truth. Now, ultimately, you know, the Lord does bless us with certain things, but hey, again, the main thing is the truth. You know, we're not going to be billionaires and trillionaires within society.
Yep.
You know that's what Jake's trying to have. You know, just you know, ultimately all these different businesses and have a nice, you know, or what's the word? You know, again, just all being basically you know, mass businessman within Esau's kingdom.
Yeah, and that's what Jake does in the truth too. Jake puts, you know, them being this man of the Lord, the truth as a front, you know, in order for them to have access to those different riches, in order for them to have that type of lifestyle, because, you know, they're selling the truth. You know, they're making merchandise out of the truth. You know, making all the, you know, you businessmen in the truth. You know.
Yeah.
Selling Hebrew courses and selling Hebrew names, and, you know, you selling all this merchandise within the truth, putting your cash app every single way. You got every single way to get paid in the description on the end of the video. You know, instead of just going into straight to the video, giving all praise to Yahweh Shemi, you put in advertisements in the beginning. Putting your cash apps and PayPal.
Yeah, your plugs.
And you know, before we start the video, make sure you check out the Hebrew Bible into this, you know. That's what these guys is all about, man. The money. And it's no surprise that these same guys that was doing this all of a sudden is changing the doctrine, including the heathens, you know, to that they can be saved. And then you know, all that stuff they were teaching, all that the courses they were selling, you know, I guess now they're all false. They were, you know, you basically scammed everybody, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and you know, and ultimately it goes to show you that a lot of Jake's lazy, man. You know, again, trying to make money off the truth instead of, again, because it's 100% possible. You can have obviously this is the main thing that we do. This word, the truth, is a principal thing. But obviously, you know, whether a certain way, Yahweh Shem Yashai said a certain ways where, again, you can still make a living doing things that don't have to, you know, obviously be involved with the truth. You know, the Lord, of course, has given ways. But again, you know, Jake's lazy. You know, they want to try to, what's the word? You know, basically finesse. You know, well, you know, if I'm, you know, if I'm doing this for 8 hours a day, you know, I'm within the truth for, you know, this and many hours. You know, ultimately, why not make money off of it? That shakes mindset. Which what the scriptures say? What the buy the truth and sell it not. So you know, we're not supposed to be selling the truth and basically making money off of it. You know, what did Yahushua do? What he basically you know, when he saw them selling within the temple, you know, he of course, you know, became furious. He was flipping tables, and what did he say? He said, "Make not the house of my father merchandise."
Yeah,
basically paraphrasing.
Yeah, you know, you it's like you coming up saying, you know, oh man, you know, how you hate being in captivity and, you know, going into this life, but then, you know, every week, you know, you blowing the bag at the club, having a good time, you know, making you know, you have folly, you know, in a day that's in high holy day, you know, you put in folly in those days, and you know, everything like that, having it up, living it up, you know, making rap videos, you know, saying how much money you got in your bank account and all this stuff. So it's all looks phony, man, insincere. You know, and the Lord, you know, the Lord has already judged a lot of these guys, man. And the Lord is going to continue to judge a lot of these guys. And you got, you know, these guys in the IUIC, you know, they're pretty much, they preaching Yahweh now, man. You know, going into Yahweh. Saying you don't have the name of the Lord, but then you saying Yahweh. The Lord is going, the Lord is getting ready to deal with a lot of you niggas, man.
Yeah, then you know, you have Nate on that podcast. You know, with that one chick, and hey, showing you that these guys are a part of the world. It's not our bidding to be involved with these different podcasts, you know, and basically, you know, go to this podcast. Oh, you know, the Hebrew Israelite ministry, and then this and that. No, ultimately, as the scriptures say, we're supposed to be separate. You know, scriptures don't say basically, oh, you know, go on, you know, go, you know, basically go here on this podcast and teach the truth.
Yeah.
And
and you're seeing that, you know, and this truth is supposed to be holy, man. But these guys, what they're doing is, you know, you got different camps that's merging Christianity within the truth, or they're merging the world within the truth, putting rap videos in, going on these different podcasts, interviews, you know, debating. You got this one guy said that, he was drawn into the ISUPK because of Captain Cesariak's debating skills, or, you know, something along those lines. But what about Yahweh Shai, man? You see? It's supposed to be about Yahweh Shai, man. You know, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. And those names are important. And a lot of brothers, you know, can attest to this, but literally when you heard those names, you know, you know, those gotta be the names. That was like one of the first things you knew coming into the truth, the name Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. You know, I never heard those names outside of, you know, really GMS. You know, I never heard those names. You know, and that's how you know that, you know, the Lord has put a spirit on certain men, you know, that's preaching the truth. It's not all the everybody who knows that they are Israelite. You know, it's a remnant among those people. You see?
Yeah. God, so it says John chapter 2 and 12. Out of this he went down to Capernaum, he and his mother and his brethren and his disciples. They continued there not many days. And the Jews' Passover was at hand. And Yahushua went up to Jerusalem, and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves, and the changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money, and overthrew the tables. verse 16, it says, and said unto them that sold doves, take these things hence, make not my father's house an house of merchandise.
Man.
His disciples remembered that it was written, the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up. Say, hey, and
They make
hey, so what? Yahushua became furious, man, when he saw that, because ultimately, those guys are in the wrong spirit again, trying to take advantage of the truth. Trying to take, of course, going to the believer zeal, the zeal that they might have for the Lord. Ultimately, what they're taking, of course, advantage of that, and trying to make money off of it.
Yeah, making like a farmer's market or something, or or a flea market, out of the truth. You coming out there, making it seem like you preaching the Lord, but then people in the background, selling different things. You got, you hear about these different guys doing barbecues and all this stuff. So it's truly not about Yahweh Shemi. It's about filthy lucre's sake. This is these different camps. They're all about the honey, but they're not willing to go through that the bitterness of the truth. The being refined. The fiery trials. The trials and tribulations, and that's why a lot of these guys, when all hell breaks loose, they're gonna fold. They'll take the MOTB. They're not gonna have faith. A lot of these different guys are gonna be exposed once all hell breaks loose, man, because they're not really being built up.
Yeah, and what's causing bitter? The prophecies, the persecution of the prophets.
Yep.
They go into the prophecy of MOTB, go into World War III, you go into Jacob's trouble. Well, this same guy who said, Jacob's trouble is gay, or this and that.
Yeah.
So, hey, again, but of course, I know other brothers' point. Most Jake wants to stay focused, of course, on the honey. They don't want to. Again, when it comes to the truth, the scriptures say, "Eat the whole roll." Ultimately, you have to eat the honey and the bitter.
Yep.
It can't be one or the other. Ultimately, you have to have both. But again, most want to stay stuck on the honey.
That's it. And they care about their image. A lot of these guys care about how they're perceived, by the world. All the bad things that or the demonizing things they say about the truth. They say, oh yeah, but they're talking about GMS, or they're talking about GMS and these they pretty much throw all that on us, which we're like, which we understand that when we preach the truth, the world is going to hate us, because they truly hate Yahweh Shai. So we're not going to try to water things down and sugarcoat things and try to make our self. Now, we're going to spare not, and we're going to treat